September 25th, 2018. Bill Cosby, America's dad, for 3 decades, stood in a Pennsylvania courtroom in handcuffs. The man who taught millions about family values was now inmate number NN7687. His mugshot, released hours later, showed a face the world thought it knew but never really understood. That mugshot became a single, unignorable image. That image shattered something. For years, Cosby's wholesome persona had been armor against accountability. The sweaters, the wisdom, the moral authority. It all worked until the moment it could not, until the mugshot made the truth unavoidable. This pattern repeats across Hollywood. The more perfect the public image, the longer the deception lasts. Family-friendly stars, beloved sitcom characters, paragons of virtue. Then the arrest. Then the mugshot that replaces every carefully crafted photo that came before it. These 10 cases reveal the same truth. Fame does not just hide crimes, it enables them, until the moment the facade meets the camera flash. The family-friendly facades. Bill Cosby spent 30 years as the moral center of American television. The Cosby Show made him more than famous. It made him trusted. Dr. Cliff Huxtable was not just a character. He was who parents wanted to be, who kids wanted as a father. Cosby leveraged that trust into philanthropy, speaking tours, and a reputation as a voice for family values. Behind that image, more than 60 women describe the same pattern. Drugging, assault, decades of it, hidden behind the sweaters and the smile. Andrea Constand, a Temple University employee, finally brought charges that stuck. In 2004, Cosby invited her to his home under the pretense of career advice. He gave her pills he called your friends. She could not move, could not speak, and could not stop what happened next. The 2018 conviction brought 3 to 10 years in state prison. The mugshot showed an 80-year-old man in a dress shirt, expressionless. No sweater, no smile. Just the face of someone who finally ran out of image to hide behind. He served nearly 3 years before a technicality freed him in 2021. The conviction was overturned, but the mugshot remains. That is his legacy now. Stephen Collins played Reverend Eric Camden on Seventh Heaven for 11 seasons. The show built its entire premise on wholesome family values, filtered through a pastor's moral guidance. Collins became the face of faith-based television, the father figure who always knew the right thing to say. Churches screened episodes. Parents held him up as an example. In 2014, audio recordings from therapy sessions surfaced. Collins admitted to sexually abusing 3 underage girls between 1972 and 1994. The youngest was 10 years old. He described the acts in clinical detail, acknowledging what he had done while minimizing the harm. The recordings went public, and his career evaporated overnight. No criminal charges followed. Statutes of limitations had expired on all 3 cases. Collins issued a public apology, calling his actions a terrible mistake. But there was no arrest, no trial, no prison time. Just the end of everything he had built. TV Land pulled Seventh Heaven from syndication immediately. Reruns disappeared. The show that defined wholesome family entertainment became unwatchable. Collins vanished from Hollywood, his name now synonymous with the worst kind of betrayal. Josh Duggar grew up on television. 19 kids and counting documented his family's life, built around conservative Christian values and purity culture. Josh was the eldest son, the example for his siblings, the future of the Duggar brand. He spoke at political events, worked for conservative organizations, and presented himself as a defender of traditional family values. In 2021, federal agents arrested him for receiving and possessing child pornography. The material, investigators said, was among the worst they had encountered in their careers. The trial revealed a pattern of deliberate concealment. Duggar had installed software to hide his activities, accessing the material from his workplace computer. The 2022 conviction resulted in 12.5 years in federal prison. His mugshot showed a man in an orange jumpsuit, clean-cut and calm, looking nothing like the monster the evidence revealed. TLC canceled all Duggar programming. The family empire, built on wholesomeness and faith, collapsed. Josh's wife stayed married to him. His parents issued statements about forgiveness and redemption, but the image was gone. The mugshot replaced it. These 3 cases share the same foundation: wholesome images that provided perfect cover. Victims who were not believed because people said they would never do that. Decades of harm hidden behind family values and moral authority. Then the moment when the image finally cracked and the truth became unavoidable. Danny Masterson played Stephen Hyde on that 70s show for 8 seasons. Hyde was the sarcastic, lovable stoner who lived in the foreman's basement. The show ran from 1998 to 2006, turning Masterson into a household name. After it ended, he landed another sitcom role on Netflix's The Ranch, playing another easygoing character audiences trusted. In 2001 and 2003, 2 women reported that Masterson had raped them. Both were members of the Church of Scientology, as was Masterson. The women later testified that church officials pressured them to stay silent, threatening them with expulsion if they went to police. The reports went nowhere for years. Masterson's career continued without interruption. The cases resurfaced in 2017 during the early days of the Me Too movement. LAPD reopened the investigation. Netflix initially stood by Masterson, then quietly wrote him off the ranch in 2017. The trial finally happened in 2023, 20 years after the assaults. The jury convicted him of raping 2 women. The judge sentenced him to 30 years to life in prison. His mugshot showed a man in his late 40s, beard graying, expression blank. Netflix scrubbed the ranch from its platform. That 70s show reruns continue, but Masterson's scenes now carry a different weight. The goofy basement dweller was a predator the entire time. The victims fought for 2 decades to be heard. The wholesome sitcom image gave him cover until it could not anymore. Tim Allen became famous as Tim the Toolman Taylor on Home Improvement, playing a bumbling but lovable dad who hosted a home repair show. The sitcom ran from 1991 to 1999, making Allen one of the biggest stars on television. He later voiced Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story, cementing his status as a family-friendly icon. What most people do not know is that Allen's career almost never happened. In 1978, before he was famous, police arrested him at the Kalamazoo airport with over a pound of cocaine. He was 25 years old, facing life in prison under Michigan's harsh drug laws. Allen made a deal. He turned informant, giving up the names of other dealers in exchange for a reduced sentence. The plea deal worked. Allen served 2 years and 4 months in federal prison, then walked free. He rebuilt his life, moved to Los Angeles, and started doing stand-up comedy. By the time Home Improvement premiered in 1991, the arrest was buried history. Disney never mentioned it. A BC never mentioned it. Allen became America's favorite TV dad, and nobody talked about the mugshot. The image from 1978 shows a young man with shaggy hair and a mustache looking directly at the camera. It is jarring to see that face and connect it to the wholesome persona Allen built later. He has spoken about it occasionally, framing it as a mistake he learned from. But the contrast remains. The family-friendly image was constructed on top of a criminal past that most of his audience never knew existed. Robert Downey Jr. was Hollywood's golden boy in the 1990s. Talented, charismatic, destined for greatness. Then addiction took over. Between 1996 and 2001, police arrested him multiple times. Drugs, weapons, breaking into a neighbor's home while high. Each arrest made headlines. Each mugshot showed the progression of someone losing everything. The 1999 mugshot is the most famous. Downey looks exhausted, defeated, barely present. He spent 15 months in the California Substance Abuse Treatment Facility. When he got out, most of Hollywood had written him off. His insurance costs were too high. The risk was not worth it. Then came Iron Man in 2008. The comeback was complete. Downey became the centerpiece of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, earning hundreds of millions. The redemption arc was real, but the mugshots never disappeared. They are part of his story now. The superhero who hit rock bottom before he could fly. The Respectable Frauds. Felicity Huffman spent decades building a reputation as a serious actress. She won an Emmy for Desperate Housewives, earned an Oscar nomination for Transamerica, and became known as one of Hollywood's most respected veterans. Her image was polished, professional, accomplished. The kind of person who did things the right way. In March 2019, federal agents arrested her as part of Operation Varsity Blues, the massive college admissions scandal that exposed how wealthy parents bought their children's way into elite universities. Huffman had paid $15,000 to have someone correct her daughter's SAT answers, inflating her score by 400 points. The scheme was simple, effective, and completely illegal. Her mugshot showed a woman in casual clothes, no makeup, looking directly at the camera with an expression somewhere between resignation and disbelief. This was not supposed to happen to people like her. But it did. The arrest made national headlines. The Emmy winner in handcuffs. America's desperate housewife caught cheating the system. Huffman pleaded guilty quickly, accepting responsibility in a way that set her apart from other defendants. The judge sentenced her to 11 days in federal prison, the shortest sentence among the parents charged. She served those 11 days, paid her fines, and issued public apologies. But the damage was permanent. Her career, once thriving, became a series of rejections. A recent pilot did not get picked up. The roles dried up. The mugshot became the image people remembered. Lori Loughlin's fall was harder because she fought longer. She had spent decades as Aunt Becky on Full House, becoming one of television's most beloved figures. 3 generations grew up watching her. When Fuller House brought the cast back, Loughlin's return felt like coming home. She also built a second career with Hallmark Channel, starring in their wholesome Christmas movies and becoming the face of their brand. The Varsity Blues scandal hit her differently. Loughlin and her husband paid $500,000 to get their 2 daughters into USC as fake rowing recruits. Neither daughter had ever rowed. The scheme involved fabricated athletic profiles, staged photos, and bribes to a university official. When federal agents arrested Loughlin in March 2019, she initially treated it like a misunderstanding. Her mugshot showed her smiling slightly, as if this would all blow over. It did not. While Felicity Huffman pleaded guilty and moved on, Loughlin fought the charges for over a year. She appeared in court looking confident, even signing autographs for fans outside. The strategy backfired. Prosecutors added charges. The evidence piled up. In May 2020, facing overwhelming proof, she finally pleaded guilty. The judge sentenced her to 2 months in federal prison. Hallmark fired her immediately, pulling her movies from their schedule. Netflix removed her from Fuller House. The wholesome image she had spent 40 years building evaporated. When she was released from prison in December 2020, she tried to rebuild. But Aunt Becky was gone. The mugshot had replaced her. Martha Stewart's case was different because she survived it. In 2001, she sold clone stock based on insider information, avoiding a $45,000 loss. When investigators questioned her, she lied. The lying became the crime, obstruction of justice, and making false statements to federal agents. Her 2004 mugshot became instant cultural currency. Stewart, the woman who built an empire on perfection and propriety, was suddenly in a police photo. She served 5 months in federal prison, followed by 5 months of house arrest. Most celebrities would have disappeared, but Stewart came back stronger. She turned the prison time into a story of resilience, joked about it on late-night television, and rebuilt her brand. The mugshot became part of her legend instead of her ending. She is the exception that proves the rule. Reese Witherspoon built her career on being America's sweetheart. Legally Blonde made her a star by showing intelligence wrapped in charm. She won an Oscar for Walk the Line. Her production company championed female-driven stories. Everything about her public image screamed likability, professionalism, success. In April 2013, Atlanta police pulled over a car weaving between lanes. The driver was Witherspoon's husband, film agent Jim Toth, who was drunk. Witherspoon, also intoxicated, stepped out of the car despite the officer's orders. When he tried to get her back inside, she refused. She asked, "Do you know my name?" Her voice was caught on the officer's body cam. Then she said, "You're about to find out who I am." The officer arrested her for disorderly conduct. Her mugshot showed her in a dark top, blonde hair pulled back, expressions somewhere between defiant and confused. It was not a serious crime. She spent a few hours in jail, paid a fine, and launched an immediate apology tour. She called it one of those nights. The charges were minor, the consequences minimal. But the image cracked. America's sweetheart had pulled the "Don't you know who I am" card on a cop doing his job. The body cam footage played everywhere. The mugshot became a meme. Witherspoon's career survived because she owned it quickly. But the wholesome image never fully recovered. The moment revealed something people had not seen before, and once seen, it could not be unseen. These 10 cases follow the same pattern. Wholesome images are not just marketing. They are armor. They make victims doubt themselves. They make investigators hesitate. They make the public refuse to believe until the evidence becomes overwhelming. The more perfect the persona, the longer the deception lasts. Bill Cosby's sweaters, Stephen Collins's pastor collar, Josh Duggar's family values, Danny Masterson's basement stoner charm, Tim Allen's toolman persona. Each image provided cover for years, sometimes decades. The victims spoke up and were not believed because they would never do that. When the facade finally breaks, the mugshot becomes the permanent image. It replaces every carefully crafted photo that came before. The arrest is when the lie meets unavoidable truth. The moment when fame stops protecting and starts exposing. These 10 mugshots reveal the same truth. Fame does not just hide crimes, it enables them until the moment it cannot. The wholesome image becomes the weapon, Then it becomes the evidence. Subscribe to uncover more stories where celebrity facades shattered against criminal reality.